what are your top 3 pieces of advice for people in the industry?
My first advice would be that you are open to the world, and really try not just to see exactly the thing you are working with as the only important thing in the world. So this about actually, you should not only spend time on your research, but you should actually also spend time on how you communicate with your colleagues, work with your colleagues, how you act socially. And I know that's hard for some, but it is actually an advice from my side. When you go wherever you go in the future, the chances that you will be working as the only person on a certain project is slim to none. You will always work with other people. And that's why you really have to develop those skills. How do you work with other people? So it's not just about your specific topic you're working on. It's also about how you work with others. Always be prepared to the extent possible. I think that's that's also always my advice to my son. Or my daughter. Be prepared. It actually works. If you go into a meeting being prepared, you are just more convincing. It's easier for you to actually also take input out of the meeting again. So if you are more prepared than just, not at all. I think the third one is probably, and that's a more, always work on your CV. That it does actually work. It's not that, your CV doesn't have to be like, 200 pages. I don't want to know everything about every conference you have been on and all that. It's actually super annoying and when the CV is too long. But you need to have a prepared CV and be prepared for. I also have employees in my department where I say, okay, but you are not the one who is probably going to be the top scientist here. So maybe you should also think about how would your CV look like if you move somewhere else. So, you are not just playing your CV into something that is basically useless. So if you are now, working as, maybe you are in charge of some projects or something, make it look like you are actually in charge of those when you are having that CV, because maybe you are moving into industry at some point. So have your CV prepared for that possible change. And there are so many opportunities in the life science area. It doesn't mean that you have to work the same place for the rest of your life. But sometimes you really see this, that, some are not really preparing their CV for their next job. Or, of course you don't know if you need to have your next job, but it might happen. So this about, does actually make a difference if you have a little bit thought about what should be in your CV for your next job. No matter if the next job ever comes, but and that's actually a thing that I tell some of my employees, that please think about it. That you look good in the future, because that's also my responsibility as the leader. That you are actually able to develop, even though it might not be here forever. And I guess in 2 seconds I will have the fourth, or I should have been this one.
Yeah. Or I can tell you what I think number 4 would be. It would probably be sometimes follow the stomach.
Yes.
Over the
You're
head.
Right, James.
Right.
That's correct. Follow
the stomach. Sometimes the stomach does beat the head. Right.
Yes.